I trusted her completely, and I don't say that lightly. We were together for 4 years. I was 23, she was 22, and in so many ways, we grew up together. She wasn't just my girlfriend, she was my person, the one I talked to about everything. The stupid stuff, the deep stuff, the late-night thoughts that only come out at 3 a.m. I trusted her blindly. The kind of trust where you don't question anything, because you're sure they'd never hurt you. At least, that's what I believed. For our anniversary, I decided to make her something personal. A small app, nothing fancy. Just photos, old messages, voice clips from when we used to stay up talking all night. Little memories. While I was making it, I actually felt close to her again. Like I was reconnecting with the version of us that felt safe. But around that time, something felt off. There was no big fight. No dramatic argument. Just small changes. Replies that used to come instantly started taking hours. Sorry, I fell asleep. Became a regular excuse. She'd smile, but her eyes didn't match it. She'd sit next to me, scrolling on her phone, holding it at that slight angle, like she didn't want me to see. Small things. Easy to ignore. Except they don't stay small in your head. And this is where I messed up. Out of fear, insecurity, and honestly stupidity, I did something I never thought I'd do. I bought spyware from some random guy online and hid it inside the anniversary app. Even as I was doing it, my chest felt heavy. Every instinct told me to stop. That if she ever found out, it would be over instantly. But I convinced myself it was just for peace of mind. Her birthday came not long after, and that day felt strange too. She laughed, then went quiet. She hugged me, but it felt like she was somewhere else. That night, I barely slept. The feeling just kept getting worse. The next morning, I checked, and I wish I hadn't. What I saw broke something in me that I don't think ever fully healed. She wasn't just talking to her ex. She was flirting with him. Familiar, emotional, playful. The kind of tone I thought was only ours. Messages like, "You still remember that, huh? Don't start again. I miss talking like this." I felt sick. My hands were shaking as I read them, scrolling back and forth, hoping I was misunderstanding, hoping there was some innocent explanation. But deep down I knew. You always know when a line has been crossed. And then the guilt hit. Because yes, what she did hurt me deeply. But I had also crossed a line I couldn't defend. I violated her privacy. I broke her trust, even if she never knew it. And that messes with your head, because suddenly you can't fully blame the other person when you know you're not innocent either. The worst thought still haunts me. If I never checked, would I still be happy? Is it better to live in a lie, or to know a truth that destroys you? After that, nothing felt real anymore. Not her words. Not my feelings. I couldn't look at her the same way, and I couldn't look at myself the same way either. It felt like we both broke something sacred, just in different ways. She broke the emotional bond. I broke the trust. And even though she never found out what I did, I knew. And that knowledge stayed with me. I felt dirty inside. And I don't think we ever truly recovered from that moment. After that, I didn't confront her right away. And that surprised me about myself. I thought finding something like that would make me explode. Anger, shouting, accusations. But instead, I went quiet. Too quiet. I started watching her more closely. The way she talked. The way she laughed. The way she said my name. Everything felt slightly rehearsed, like I was standing next to someone I knew, but didn't fully recognize anymore. Every normal moment started to feel fake. When she told me she loved me, I wondered if she meant it, or if it was just habit. When she laughed at my jokes, I asked myself if she laughed like that with him too. And the worst part is, she didn't even have to do anything wrong anymore. My mind was already doing all the damage on its own. A few days later, she noticed something was off. She asked me what was wrong, and I froze. Because how do you explain pain that came from something you were never supposed to see? How do you admit you broke a boundary just to discover someone else had already crossed one too? In that moment, I realized there was no clean way out. No version where everyone stays innocent. So I said nothing. I told her I was just tired, stressed, overthinking. She accepted that answer easily, and that hurt more than I expected. Part of me wanted her to push harder, to fight for clarity, to ask again. But she didn't. And that silence between us grew. We stayed together, but something had shifted. Conversations became shorter. Touch felt lighter. We were physically close, but emotionally distant, like two people sharing space instead of a life. I kept wondering if she sensed it too, or if she was already halfway gone. Eventually, the messages stopped. Or maybe they didn't, and I just stopped checking. I honestly don't remember the exact moment I closed that spyware dashboard for the last time. I just remember feeling exhausted, tired of knowing things I couldn't unknow, tired of carrying secrets that weren't even mine to carry. What stayed with me wasn't just what she did. It was who I became because of it. I became someone suspicious, someone who second-guessed affection, someone who learned how easy it is to justify crossing a line when fear is loud enough. And that scared me more than the betrayal itself. Because trust doesn't only break when someone cheats. It also breaks when you stop believing in your own values. We didn't end in some dramatic explosion. No screaming. No big confession. We just faded. Slowly. Quietly. Like a conversation that loses momentum until no one knows what to say anymore. And sometimes I wonder if that's worse. Now, looking back, I don't see a villain in this story. I see two people who were afraid. Afraid of losing each other. Afraid of being honest, afraid of facing uncomfortable truths. One of us looked outward for comfort. The other looked inward and made a choice they can't take back. I still don't know the answer to the question that keeps coming back to me late at night. Is it better to live in a lie that feels safe, or a truth that changes you forever? All I know is this. Once trust breaks, even silently, it changes how you love. And sometimes, the hardest part isn't losing the person you trusted most. It's realizing you lost a part of yourself too. After we drifted apart, life didn't suddenly get clearer. It got quieter. There were days when I woke up and instinctively reached for my phone, expecting a message from her, some random thought, some inside joke, something ordinary. And then I'd remember that we weren't really us anymore. Not because we officially ended things, but because whatever made us feel safe with each other had already slipped through our fingers. What haunted me wasn't just what I saw. It was how normal everything looked from the outside. Friends still thought we were fine. Photos still existed. Memories still played back in my head like highlights. Laughing in the car, late-night talks, plans we made like they were guaranteed. And that made me question myself even more. Was I overreacting? Was I too sensitive? Did I destroy something that could have been saved if I had just trusted harder instead of looking deeper? Some nights, I replayed the moment I decided to spy on her. Not the discovery, but the choice. That split second where I ignored my own values because fear felt louder than trust. I realized that betrayal doesn't always arrive as someone else's actions. Sometimes, it arrives as a decision you make when you're scared of being hurt. And that realization stuck with me. Even now, when I meet new people, I feel it. That hesitation before trusting. That urge to look for signs. To read between lines that might not even be there. It's like my mind learned a new survival instinct and forgot how to turn it off. I don't hate her, and I don't forgive myself easily either. What hurts the most is knowing that if I had handled things differently, if I had talked instead of watched, asked instead of assumed, maybe the ending wouldn't feel so unresolved. Or maybe it would have ended the same way, just with less damage to who I am now. I'll never know. And that's the part no one really talks about. Closure isn't always a conversation. Sometimes it's just learning to live with unanswered questions. Sometimes it's accepting that you can be both hurt and wrong at the same time. I used to think trust was about believing someone would never hurt you. Now I think trust is also about believing you'll still recognize yourself, even if they do. So here's the question I keep coming back to, and the one I want to ask you. If you felt something was wrong, would you rather look for the truth and risk losing everything? Or protect the relationship, even if it meant protecting a lie? And maybe an even harder one. When trust breaks, quietly, and without witnesses, who do you think suffers more? The one who betrayed, or the one who learned the truth in a way they never should have?